Of Texas Freedom Coalition, Sarah Fields, and sang our national anthem. She's coming up next to give us a wonderful speech on Texas.
Yay.
Let's go, Sarah!
Yeah, on Texas and the rest of the United States. But I'm so happy to be here. My name is Sarah Fields. I'm the Director of Advocacy and Secretary of the Board for Texas Freedom Coalition. And just like you, I'm not like you said, I'm not a public speaker. I don't like giving speeches. I'm not the biggest fan of it. I actually prefer singing over speaking. So even worse, I wrote my speech, so I brought it up here with me. So I'm going to be mostly speaking off of this.
You got this.
Yeah. Oh, I know. I know I got it. I get nervous just like you. But also, I'm also from California. I grew up in California. And I love Texas. I've lived here for almost 12 years now, and this place has my heart. 100%. This place actually feels like home to me. So, y'all, I want to talk to you about being just a regular, normal Texan who wants to make a difference. Because I'm not an elected official. I'm not trying for an elected position. I'm just here trying to make a difference because back in 2000, back during when 9/11 happened, I was very angry. I was still living at home with my mother, and I told my mother that I was going to join the military, and she didn't believe me, and I said, bet. And I joined the military in 2005, and then because I felt a fire in my heart, and I wanted to protect this great nation because I felt like it was an affront to Americans what happened on 9/11. Whether or not it was an inside job or not, it was an affront to Americans. And so after getting out of the military, I went back to my regular life of being a normal American, and I got married, and I had children, and I was a regular housewife, and I was at home. And even back then, though, I had a little bit of an understanding of how the public schools worked, so I still homeschooled my children because I don't want to send my children to indoctrination centers, and that's what they were, and it's only gotten worse with time. And I was just trying to live my life until 2020 happened. And 2020, March 2020, when the lockdowns occurred here in the state of Texas, I got angry. And I had not felt angry like that in a long time. I hadn't felt angry like that since 9/11. Because I could tell, I could see the writing on the wall, and I could see what this country was in for from the very beginning. I could see that this is how the nation goes. This is what's going to happen. They're going to use this to take away our freedom. I know they are. I knew that in my heart, and I knew that I needed to get involved. So one of the first things I did was I went up to the Capitol in the state of Texas to go sing the national anthem like I did earlier. And then I was dragged up for a speech. And then I was asked to give another speech another time, and it grew from there. Here's the thing. As I started getting more involved in politics and more involved with lobbying for constitutional government at the Capitol during the entire legislative session, I started realizing something. Politics is like Hollywood for ugly people. It really is. It is so dirty. It is so dirty. It is the most backstabbing, dirty shit I have ever seen in my life. I have never seen so much dirty goings on, not just in the Democratic Party, but in the Republican Party as well. They are all there, excuse me, not all, there's a few really good ones. I'll mention a few good ones. Brian Slayton is one of the best House reps that we have. He's a fantastic human being, and he's fighting for all your rights. But for the most part, they are there for power and money. That is what they are there for, even the Republicans, otherwise known as rhinos. So I'm going to be very personal today. Probably the most personal I've ever actually gotten in a speech. I don't want to do what I'm doing. I don't want to be here. I did not imagine myself here in my upper 30s with 3 children, divorced because my marriage fell apart when I got involved with all of this. I didn't want to be here. I want to, yeah, I can see, you get it, yeah. I wanted to be at home, cuddled up next to my husband, asking him how his day was, sending my children off to school, not to be indoctrinated, but to actually be taught history that's been unaltered, and math and English and science, and then come home to me where I can talk to them about what to do with their feelings and how to react to the rest of the world. That's my job. It's my job to raise them. And the thing is that that's not the way the world is now, is it? It's not. And it bothers me. I want to be home. It bothers me. So the system of for the people, by the people, only works when the people are involved. And I realized that in 2020, and I realized that us, with this fire set up in our heart, we need to get involved. We cannot rely on our elected officials anymore. We can't do it anymore because our freedom is too important to be in the hands of those who do not respect it. So we're gifted with God-given unalienable rights to life. My life, which I cannot relinquish to you or allow to be taken by anyone who does not respect my life, my body, my personal autonomy, my children, my religion, my freedom of speech, my ability to carry if I want to, because that's all covered by the Constitution, because the Constitution is there to protect all of those rights that we were born with, right? So the Constitution and amendments were written to protect the laws of nature, God's works, the laws of nature, which are God's words, and equality of creation, unalienable rights among which are rights to life, liberty, and property in the pursuit of happiness. And in other words, the Constitution was written with the full intention of keeping you free. So not to keep control of you, and the left knows that, which is why they ignore it and they pretend that the Constitution does not exist. And they want to completely dismantle it. So I never thought I would have to stand here and beg to have access to my God-given rights. Why are we having to file exemptions just to make sure that our bodies remain ours? Why do we have to do that? That should never be a thing. Not even to go to school, that shouldn't be a thing. And because the thing is that the government thinks that they can take and give it back anytime they want. And guys, I'm gonna let you know, we're letting them do it. We're letting them do it. We are giving it to them inch by inch by inch. So I'm sure y'all heard about the Supreme Court and the ruling where it was, I'm excited about it, okay? So it was a 6-3 vote that the vaccine or test mandates were unconstitutional for employees, right? But also, by a 5-4 vote, they decided that healthcare workers were still going to be mandated the vaccine. That's not okay to me. That's not okay. How come we're covered by constitutional law, but they're not? You want me to tell you why? They did this on purpose. In 2020, Biden, and I will not call him president because he is not my president.
Yeah.
Biden got up and said that vaccine mandates were unconstitutional. Everything's going to be okay. I'm never going to mandate vaccines in this country. I can't do that. That's beyond me. That's overstep. You think? Yeah, it is. But then in 2021, they decided that they were going to mandate everybody. Everybody has to you better get this vaccine or you can't work. You can't go to school. I have a nurse, a friend in nursing school who has been literally plagued by her school telling her she has to get the vaccine in order to continue her education that she paid for. That's wrong. But then in 2021, it then goes to the Supreme Court, right? And now they're saying, oh, okay, so legally, air quotes, we can't make all of you get the vaccine, but we can make this group of people get the vaccine. Who is that group of people? These are the people who are responsible for your health. Yes, and you're right, and the military. Responsible for your safety. Your health and your safety. Those are the ones that they are saying they can mandate the vaccine, right? So the only ones that I know of that will actually bend over and take the vaccine are either the ones who are in agreement with it or the ones who don't have a backbone. And those are the ones who are now going to be the healthcare workers and in the military supposedly supposed to be protecting you and your health. I don't want that. But they know exactly what they're doing. We tried to take it back, but we gave them an inch. And now they're going to take a mile. It's sad to me that the disease of leftism can only be cured by adherence to the truth, because truth seems to be the one thing that leftism avoids. And in 1988, James Bryce wrote that sunlight kills the germs of corruption that can infect a government. So let me tell you something a little exciting that Texas Freedom Coalition does. We love writing public information requests, PIRs. And we do it a lot. We are now not only doing it to the state of Texas legislator, the senators, the House reps, we're also doing it to the hospitals now, and we're doing it to the schools, and we're trying to expose everybody, and we're actually succeeding in a lot of that. So let me tell you something recently that we found out. We did a private information request to UT Health. Is anyone familiar with UT Health? It's one of the biggest hospitals in East Texas. We specifically asked them, let me actually preface this real quick. I saw in the Tyler newspaper, that they had received information from the health department that we're in a, quote, pandemic of the unvaccinated. And they were basing this off of information that they had received from the state health department, which gets their information from the hospitals. So we decided to write a private information request not only to the health department, but also to the hospitals, because the best thing you can do is send out multiple public information requests to different organizations and businesses and then compare them to see who's lying, because someone's lying. And so we submitted a private information request to UT Health, and we got back this information. I have it memorized. Since October, so kind of the beginning of flu season, they have had a little over 400 people admitted to the hospital with COVID. 400 people. Of that 400, 2 are minors, so under the age of 18. But when I asked them who was vaccinated and who was not, do you want to know what they said? We haven't updated our system and we have no way of knowing. I know you know. We have no way of knowing. Okay, so how did you provide statistics to the state health department that then reported it to the media that then gave it to the people and told them we're in a pandemic of the unvaccinated? You are liars. It is a circus. This is a circus world. And we have also asked for this information from Mother Francis, and we have decided to go ahead and start asking for this information from all the major hospitals in the state of Texas, and I cannot wait to release all that information, let me tell you. I can't wait. We're excited, because that's my favorite part, is just exposing it. Bringing the darkness to light. That's what we need to do, right? So, I'm almost done. I have a few more things I want to say. Oh, thank you. I like you too. I love you. That's why I'm here. I love you. So, What would I be right now if I didn't bring up Australia? I mean, I know you TikTok influencers know I love Australia. I love bringing them up. So, you know, God works in really mysterious ways, and Texas Freedom Coalition has had a really hard time with our algorithms on Facebook and Instagram and, you know, all the different, you know, TikTok, whatever. And so, let me tell you, it's funny when you watch things backfire on people, and Australia hates Texas Freedom Coalition. We're in their media all the time. And you know what they did though? They broke our algorithm. And they made our page popular in an entire other country. And now a whole bunch of patriots from Australia contact us all the time to give us intel on what is actually happening in Australia. It's pretty amazing. So if I can tell you from the very beginning how you want to know why Australia first caught wind of us, is that we made a joke, we created a meme, and it was a picture of Australia, and it said, largest prison as seen from space. They did not like that. They said, we're not in prison. We're fine. We're just doing what they tell us to do, and then we'll all be okay. We'll all be okay. So, you know, they were a penal colony, and they're a penal colony again. So there was recently an article written about Texas Freedom Coalition in Australia. And I loved going through the comments on the article. And I want to read to you some of these comments because I'm trying to get a point across here, and I think you'll understand when you hear it. At least when we roam around Australia, we don't have to wear bulletproof vests. Well, no, because none of you have a gun, so that makes sense, all right? One of them posted a picture of themselves on the beach like, oh my gosh, this is amazing. I have no freedom. Look at this daylight. I'm like, yeah, well, wait till nighttime. I'm pretty sure that you have a curfew. Make sure you get to bed on time. But here's a few more. Australia is a federation of individual states all under martial law. The average Australian is a law-abiding and trusting individual who sadly believes this garbage being fed to them by the megalomaniacs running the show. From government officials to health experts, this has been a very successful coup, and now we're all going to find out that the COVID conspirators are now conspiracy facts. Does that sound familiar to you? And then another one. Texas Freedom Coalition is correct to point out that Australia is an overgoverned nanny police state. It's not just the US laughing at the way this country is being run at the moment. We are so isolated over here that people just don't even question how ridiculous this has become. I have said it repeatedly before, and I'm going to say it again, that the US is not far behind Australia in terms of being under a communistic rule. During a press conference in Australia, the state health official announced that unless the workers got their boosters, they were going to be fired. And then last Monday, they just announced very casually that all the unvaccinated were going to be in a lock-in. That's what they called it. They told them to walk out of their job at 1:00 p.m. and they had to be in a lock-in in their homes. They were not allowed to be involved in vaccinated society. They were not allowed to go to the store. They were not allowed to go to the pub. They were not allowed to do what we're doing right now. We're in trouble because the fact is we are making fun of Australia, but I enjoy it. But here's the thing, is that we need to realize that Australia is the example that we are doomed to become if we do not stand up and start making a change. So I do not care if you are an elected official or not. That holds no weight on how impactful you can actually be, clearly. If we cannot count on our governor to do something so simple as closing our Texas border, then that governor has no business trying to do anything else because he's not going to protect us from our own government. He's not going to protect us federally if he can't do something as simple as closing the border. This part's going to be hard because I was asked to do this right before I came here. I came inside here, but I have a huge reality check that I want to talk to y'all about. I was given this right before I walked in here. I have a very good friend. His nickname is Rooster, but his real name is Luke, and he is the president of the Patriot Boys militia. They're an amazing group of people who love you and love Texas and love the Constitution. And a lot of them are prior military. A lot of them are just patriots through and through. Actually, I talked to Luke, or Rooster, I mainly call him Rooster, about a month ago about helping with security for this event. And of course, he was like, heck yeah, I want to do that. He was really excited. 2 days later, I found out that, oh, and by the way, he was also on the border helping protect the border. We'll just leave it there. And 2 days later, after that conversation, I found out that he had been arrested for, quote, involvement with January 6th. And he is currently in detainment. I actually don't know where he is. I kept up with him for a few weeks. I've been trying to raise money for his legal representation. And I talked to a good friend of mine last week, and she straight up told me, she said, I actually don't know where he is now. They won't tell us anything. But he wrote a speech, because he obviously can't be here. He wrote a speech, and he wants it read. And I would really love to read it to y'all if you allow me to do so. So this is from Luke. He wrote this from where he's at, which is heartbreaking. But I would really implore you to listen to this. And I'm getting old, and it's dark over there. Hello everyone, my name is Rooster, National President of the Patriot Boys. The reason I'm writing this speech to you and having one of my national members read it is because I'm currently a political prisoner being held in federal custody. So not to jeopardize my case, this is all I can say about that. For those who don't know me, I am a Christian. I am a single father who loves his kids dearly, and I am an Iraq War combat veteran. I was taken from my life and from my kids and my family a week before Christmas and thrown into prison, and I have been sitting in a cell by myself for almost a month now. What's happening to America we all love and grew up in is something most of us never really thought could happen, at least not me. There has always seemed to be a balance until this last presidential election. This last election was flat out stolen through the massive mail-in voting scheme, and not only were the top leaders of the Democratic Party involved, other federal agencies were involved also, and we cannot forget about this. Forgetting is what they want, and they are desperate to make it go away, and they are calling anyone who questions them domestic terrorists and finding reasons to lock them up. My friend, this is Nazism, and it is very dangerous. This country is changing and not in a good way. American values and our traditions are being stripped away, and it's being put in fast forward, it seems. Our Constitution is being ignored, trampled on, and rewritten. Our founding fathers, who were once themselves called domestic terrorists and criminals, by the way, once stood up to this tyranny before and won. Do not believe the lies by any agency who claims that they are just following the Constitution. What they're actually following is a liberal, socialist, communist agenda that's meant to make all of us slaves to a system. What kind of country are we leaving our kids and grandkids to grow up in? Historians say World War II era ancestors were the greatest generation of Americans, and I agree with that. But now I believe we will be the greatest generation if we can stop this communist takeover that's threatening our country currently. We are living in a vital time in America. What are you going to do about it? You need to make a decision. Are you going to are you going to get on your knees and submit to this radical change, or are you going to be as brave as our founding fathers were and fight? Fight by making phone calls to the so-called conservative lawmakers in our government, write them letters, have rallies, protest in front of their offices to demand that they fight, and they fight hard. You can fight by helping organizations. You can fight by donating, joining in membership. Excuse me, I'm sorry. In membership and volunteering at events. We all have to be very active during all elections and get conservatives out to vote. We need extra eyes out looking for voter fraud because we cannot afford to lose elections again by fraud to Democrats. Another thing, everyone needs to be defending the J6 political prisoners, because one day the truth will come out about that day, and when it does, I suspect that real criminals will be thrown in jail. The Patriot Boys always volunteer their services, and rarely do we ask for help, but today I'm laying down my pride and I want to ask all of you for help. I have 2 things to ask of you. First, do not give up the fight. Keep getting out there. 2, I am a freedom fighter, but I am not a rich one. And if anyone can please donate to my legal fund, I need it. I know the blessing will come back to you. I'm ready to get back in this fight and serve America and all of you. With God, prayer, and lots of patriots, we will win. I love you all. Conservatives are family, and that's what we are, family. Pray for me, my family, and my kids, and the Patriot Boys. They will not break me, and I damn sure ain't going to kneel for no one but my Lord and Savior.
Yeah.
Give me freedom or give me death. God bless you, and God bless America. We have the right to freedom. We do, our children's do, and our children's children, and our children's children's children. We have that right. And I just also want to say that I'm very proud to not only be a part of Texas Freedom Coalition, but also to be a part of the Chad Prather campaign. Because let me tell you something. There's a reason that I did turn down other campaigns, and the reason is because Chad Prather is just like you and me. He was fed up. He didn't want to do this. He doesn't want to be here, but he's doing it because he loves Texas and he loves freedom, and he's tired of watching it get trampled on. He's tired of it. We are the ones that were meant to rise up and say no. And just so you know, no is a complete sentence. That's one of my favorite things to say. Because I do not owe you an explanation when you try to tell me that I need to stick something into my body, or I need to put my children into a school that would teach them how to feel or what gender they need to choose. Those are my children. No is a complete sentence, and my children will learn that, and so will their children. If I have anything to do with it, if I'm still around, I hope so. So now I've begun to realize that we were born for this. We're supposed to be here. We were born for this. We're the ones with a free fire in our hearts, and the only way that you are ever going to put that fire out in my heart, you'd have to kill me first, because it's never going to die until the day that I die. So anyways, my name is Sarah Fields. I'm with Texas Freedom Coalition and the Chad Prather campaign. I cannot wait for you to hear from him. I love y'all. And if you want any more information on Rooster, I actually did start a fund for him. So if you are interested in donating to that, please get with me and let me know. I love you guys so much.